So we'll start with you, Chris. What do you consider right now to be your most effective technology solution that you offer hotels? And also, for operators, I would like to go back around, but for operators, what technology, how do you see technology assisting your daily life as a hotel operator right now in the most significant way? So.
Well, obviously for us, we are the technology provider, and so for us providing that real-time communication, whether the guest is arriving in-house or post-departure, is kind of our focus there. Keeping communication with the hotel, being able to do that throughout their journey is most important to us because it kind of gives the control back to the hotel, being able to directly engage with the guests throughout their journey.
Well, Todd, you kind of see both sides of this, seeing as you're at both SkyTouch and Choice. So how does that sort of 10,000-foot view sort of help you as both an operator and a tech provider?
So I think that, SkyTouch was born out of a solution from Choice Hotels International and continues to be a core focus. If you look at competitive advantage, that property management system integrates with a lot of different platforms within a hotel, and even with guest communications, distribution, whatever it might be. That I see as the key component from an operational standpoint, to be able to provide information out to whatever those devices and whatever communication is happening between the consumer and what's going on at the hotel, and having all that data in one place and being able to extract insights from that, I think, is really key. As Choice, we still feel the same way. While we're working on distribution and a lot of ancillary systems, it's everything that's kind of on the outside of those two core things, property management and distribution. So that tends to be where our focus is these days.
From our perspective, I think on the security angle, we have to look at the technologies that we implement and how the data is protected. So for example, bringing Whistle in, we actually use Whistle in some of our hotels. We looked at how the data is stored. We evaluated the method of encrypting the information, the type of data that's in there. So I think when we talk about technology in the hotel, we have to also be concerned with the privacy of the data, the protection of the data, and not just credit card information, PII data. Also, if someone is talking to Alexa in the room and they say, "I've fallen and I can't get up," how is that handled from that perspective? So it's important from a security and privacy perspective to just understand the way the technology integrates into the hotel operations. How are you going to protect that information?
Mm-hmm. Well, how do you feel about data ownership? Who owns the data once you collect it? When it comes down to management companies versus brands,
So I think that's kind of a slippery slope, right? As a management company, say PCI data is really owned by who owns the merchant account,
right,
which is typically the owner of the organization. But at the end of the day, they usually don't have any employees. It's all managed, and so there's contractual. The way I look at it is more of a group ownership. Everyone's kind of got something at stake in the situation. So if data is spilled, the owner's going to be angry, the brand's going to be angry, and the management company is going to be angry. So it's, at the end of the day, I think we all have to kind of take off our hat, and we're all part of the same team. And the goal is to protect that data, and we're not on sides necessarily. Everybody's got a role in the process of keeping the data secure, and you just have to focus in on protecting that information and then reacting if there is a data spill. Mm-hmm. So that's my approach on it.
Okay. Jake, how do you?
So,
sorry.
kind of going back to integrations, I think the
Sure.
thing that we've noticed that's different, as far as my observation is, the evolution of PMS being the single source of truth to having multiple sources of truth for each thing. So, for example, CRM is your single source of truth for your customer data, and it might sit above several property management systems at a higher level. We use revenue management. Revenue management is the single source of truth for revenue data and making rate decisions and those kind of things. And even going down to CRS being a single source of truth for inventory is often. And then honestly, PMS comes to be only a single source of truth for transactional data. And taking those things, and to Todd's point, making all those integrations work together flawlessly often we're in a very, Red Lion has, 8 approved property management system solutions. So getting a lot of those solutions that we want to set as an umbrella over, getting those to work together and be interoperable, and so that the customer doesn't understand that they're staying at a SkyTouch hotel versus an Opera hotel versus any other of our brands, PMS's solutions, or whether they're on Windsurfer CRS or Sabre CRS. All of that has to work seamlessly to the guest-facing stuff. Getting those interactions to work together, and Todd and I work on those all the time. It's all the calls we have. Getting those to work together where we can have single sources of truth at multiple levels, depending on what that data is empowering our guests, empowering our people.
Chris, you have anything to add?
Yeah, we're in kind of a different scenario where we're building everything from the ground up. So, fortunately, we're in a point within growing the organization where customer development for us is everything. We're looking at what's working, what's not working in the eyes of our guest and in the eyes of our franchisees. So, we've put systems into place that have worked, we've kept them. We've put systems into place that haven't worked and we've removed them. But ultimately what we found is, utilizing Whistle, and we've been using Whistle now for almost a year, is it's given us eyes and ears where we don't have eyes and ears. We can see how the guest is interacting with the property, what they want, how they want it, when they want it, how our staff is reacting and responding to our guests' needs. And it has allowed us to enable our managers to do things that previously we weren't doing, whether it was something that involved amenities in the guest room or amenities in a common or public area that could better serve the guest. We're really utilizing a lot of the data from the Whistle to better serve that guest. So with that said, as we grow and scale, our goal is to really find out what technology solutions are best, not only for running a brand, but that allow our franchisees the most, one cost-effective solution for running their hotel, but secondarily is what is that solution that's going to allow a guest a seamless interaction with our brand.
Goodness, I guess from I'll speak for the colleges, I suppose. From an educational mission perspective, we teach as many real estate and finance wonks as we do folks interested in operations or entrepreneurship. The challenge becomes how to make this conversation meaningful for students, some of whom may be very interested in, I suppose you'd call it, transactional data. And then zoom out to the brand level, for example. How do you make 2,700 front desk logbooks meaningful? What sort of things are coming from guests to the front desk or through any of the other communication channels in a hotel? Having a single point of information for individual properties, for example. The classic clash between food and beverage and the front desk, for example. One provides the promise and the one actually has to deliver the service. If you zoom that out to an entire chain, how can we teach students to think through this? How can we teach them to choose technology solutions that are cost-effective and meaningful for franchise managers, basically?